What up, YouTube? LTH coming at you with a video. In 713 the Bio City, we up in this joint. Hope everybody's doing great, because I do got some things I want to talk about, let alone catch up. On the recent moves they made so far before free agency. And yeah, I'm going to talk about the 2022 recap of the Texans, but I'm going to get this out the way first. Such as John Weeks resigning with Houston for 1 more year, and then Britt being released by the Texans, which does free up $3 million cap space. Played 1 game in 2022, didn't play for the rest of the year because of personal reasons. And he did join the Texans in 2021. Played I think either most of the season or the whole 2021 season. But he has been released, which is going to leave the Texans need either sign a free agent center or draft one, because that interior O-line does need adjusting for sure. And they also signed Kendall Sheffield, defensive back, as a depth move. So, I gotta say, Britt wasn't that bad, but hey, it is what it is. I wish him the best and hope everything gets resolved. Thank you for your time in H-Town. That's all there is. So, either sign the center or draft one, whichever the Texans do. So, that's all the moves Houston made. Now, the recap of 2022, in which they finished 3-13-1. And I ain't gonna lie, I did say that the Texans weren't making the playoffs, but I am going to admit that I was wrong when I had them predicted to win 7-9 games this past season. But turns out I was 4-6 wins off. But it happens. Predictions won't come true, but I guess I was a little too optimistic when it came to the amount of games the Texans won. But they finished 3-13-1, and yeah, it was rough, but the reason the Texans won the 3 games that they won, for various reasons, blown leads, missed opportunities, and there were various teams, such as the Broncos, that was giving the game away, but Houston just didn't have that killer instinct in them, Not enough playmakers, gave up big runs. Careless errors. And had a chance to win games, but because of that second half struggles, that's what led to them losing games. I don't know, but it was rough, Like I said, would have finished better than 3 wins had they figured out how to put up points in the second half, because in my opinion, that second half was the Texans' biggest kryptonite. Couldn't, fail to get stops when it mattered. Defense being out on the field for too long. And I gotta say, offense didn't do their thing either. When it came time to put up critical points on the board, but unfortunately that was the case, predictable play calling and lack of creativity. There were numerous of factors that did the Texans in 2022. Offensive coordinator, at the time, Pep Hamilton, sucked, even though I had that high, some pretty high hopes of him, hoped to be a good offensive coordinator, but I guess it showed that it wasn't the case. It wasn't meant to be. So thank God we got a new offensive coordinator, and hopefully this new OC pans out in 23. But there are games the Texans could have won, but because of missed opportunities, careless mistakes, you know, on offense, and lack of defensive stops, and even dropped interceptions, and costly turnovers. I mean, you name it, that hurt the Texans, and it came back to bite them in the butt. But hopefully, during this off season, they can learn from it, and what can they do to improve as a team, not just as a team, but as a franchise going forward, starting in free agency, because they got the cap space of now $36 million because of the release of Justin Britt. Hopefully they can release some more players just to free up cap space, that especially the ones that's not worth it being in the Texans uniform. Hopefully they let Eric Murray walk, because I don't know. And I know there's been a lot of talk about Brandon Cooks getting traded, but I saw on Twitter saying, sure, gotta see it to believe it, but he wants to play under D'Amico Ryan's new scheme. But let's see how that goes. And then I saw on Twitter, I ain't gonna say the Twitter username, but it was showing that on an Instagram post that Jimmy Ward was in Houston. And I was like, and then of course, gotta see it to believe it, when it comes to Jimmy Ward signing with the Texans, because I would love to see him in the Texans uniform. But if that don't work, I'll go get that safety from Cincinnati in Bates. I want I wouldn't mind him as well. So, but let's see how this goes. But any more Texas news come up, hey, gotta make some videos. And I know the combine is going on right now, so day 2 has passed. But yeah, I haven't been watching it since I had to work and stuff. But hey, Texans gotta make some splashes, man, and not make any band-aid moves like they pretty much did last season. And of course, the draft is in April, so they gotta kick ass and not miss out on any players, because as good as the draft they had last year, there is a player or two that they missed out on. And I gotta say, Jordan Davis was one of them who played. So hopefully they don't miss out on any players in the upcoming draft. But that's likely for another video to talk about come draft day, when it comes closer. So that's it. That's all. To my next video. LTH checking on up out of here. 713 the Bio City. I'm out.